good guy. Lamont and his husband Steve, they own Quicksilver Gallery on Spring Street. They are a sponsor of this year's Diversity Del Shores and also one of the retail participants. Lamont is a county forum judge for the area. He's also served on city council. A lot of other positions here in town, so I'm going to welcome to you, Lamont.
Welcome, everybody. I want to express a very deeply held and very sincere welcome
Closer to the mic, Mom. Closer.
to everybody. I hope you're having fun. It's a weekend to have fun, starting last night with Del Shores, continuing today, continuing through the rest of the weekend. But I also want you to be aware of how important it is having you here today and having you here for the weekend. Steve and I moved to Eureka 27 years ago. And we moved here because we thought it was a very tolerant community. We were by far not the only members of the LGBT community. Zeke and Dick, our realtor Karen, and her now wife Cheryl were here. They were part of the many people who made us feel so welcome for the last 27 years. And over that period, Eureka grew from being merely tolerant to being accepting, and now to the point where so much of the community is beyond accepting, it's understanding. It's understanding same-sex relationships, it's understanding transgender people, it's understanding the wide diversity that our community brings into any community. It has been my honor over the past 27 years to be a part of many of the things that have brought Eureka to where it is right now. In 2007, Eureka adopted an ordinance that allowed same-sex couples and opposite-sex couples to enter into a domestic partnership, first and only one in the state of Arkansas. Eureka was and remains the only city in the state of Arkansas to pass a resolution that affirmed the importance and the necessity for same-sex marriage, for marriage equality. In 2010, Eureka Springs adopted a new personnel policy for its employees, which said that no one could be discriminated against on the basis of their sexual orientation or gender identity. In 2015, because of a state law that was pending, and it was one of the sponsors of this law is the gentleman, the speaker I'm replacing today, Jim Wallace, voted for and in fact sponsored it. And it was a law that said no municipality is able to adopt any non-discrimination ordinance that didn't comply with federal or state law. That was earmarked against the LGBT community. So over a weekend, I worked with James DeVito to put together an ordinance that we took to the City Council on one night in February 2015. The ordinance passed with 3 readings on an emergency clause and became law that night after the mayor signed it. We then were faced with a public referendum because there were rumblings in the community, certain aspects of the community that found this distasteful. So we spent the next 3 months waging a campaign to adopt what is now known as Ordinance 2223. And it is the most broadly worded non-discrimination ordinance in the state of Arkansas. And though Fayetteville tried to pass one first, ours was the first, and it is still on the books and being enforced. And it protects not only discrimination against sexual orientation and gender identity, but also veteran status and marital status. So we spent 3 months. Locally, we raised some $30,000 local money to be able to wage this campaign. And when the votes were taken in the special election, the turnout, which was the largest of any special election in Eureka's history, the ordinance was affirmed with 72%. It was an overwhelming ratification of non-discrimination policy in Arkansas. And I'm happy to report that our influence is extending beyond Eureka Springs. Just last month, the Quorum Court of Carroll County, for those of you who don't live in Arkansas, the Quorum Court is the equivalent of your county commissioners. I'm a member of the Quorum Court, known as the Justice of the Peace, and I sponsored language in their new personnel policy. So as of now, the personnel policy for Carroll County, Arkansas, says that there should be no discrimination against anyone based upon their sexual orientation or their gender identity. And this is all happening because of you. This all comes down because you show up diversity weekend after diversity weekend and weekends in between. You show up to support our community. Those of you who live here continue to support the community, where we're not in the closet, we're not hiding, we're not behind a closed door, we're not under a table, we're out and proud, and it's because of you. So welcome to Summer Diversity 2018. Please enjoy yourselves, and by all means, tell others about us and come back again. Thank you.